إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفر ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Okay, this is lesson 2. Lesson number 2. 2 in the Arabic class. So we're going to put here Dars Thani. Okay? Second lesson, lesson number 2. Okay? Put it over here. The last time we left off, we had put down the 3 types of words in Arabic. Okay? I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say in every language. In every language. Not just Arabic. But since we're talking about Arabic, we have it down there. And the 3 types of letters, 3 types of words are, the first one being a harf. I start off with harf because it's the easiest one. And a harf, we call it a letter. Or we call it a connector. A connector. And a connector is any word, as a definition, that can be defined as having a meaning, pointing to a meaning, I should say, in something else, and not connected to a time frame. كلمة دلت على معنى في غيرها ولم تقترن بزمن. It's a word that points to a meaning in another word, in something else, and it's not connected to a time frame. And in this course, we're going to go through it 3 ways. The first one, we're going to deal with as, like I said, as a letter. Just as a regular letter. That's alif, ba, jim, dal. Okay? Just as the regular letters of the alphabet. We're going to go through those and learn certain specific things about them. The next part, we go through and learn them as letters of ziyada, or extra. Extra meanings in the letters. Letters, like I say, letters that with extra meanings. These are letters like you have a by itself. It is a question. Everybody say a. It's a question. It means any sentence that has now been changed into a question that can only be answered by yes or no. In English, we would say a, and it would mean is, am, are, did. You know those constructions? Like I said, I went to the store. So how do I change that sentence into a question? Did you go to the store? Did you go to the store? So in the Quran, we see sometimes we say ra'ayta, meaning I saw. Or, I'm sorry, you saw. Ra'ayta. Everybody say ra'ayta. Now to turn that into a question, you say a ra'ayta. Say it louder. Ara'ayta. And that comes in the Quran that way. What is it?
Yes, so that should be question.
Right. So it's turned into a question. Ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-din. You see how it turned into a question? Ara'ayta. So these letters, these connecting letters, or these not connected letters, these letters that hold extra meanings, they're put together in a particular statement. We say sa'altumuniha or al-yawmun asituha. These are just these letters that if you put them together, you find them in front of different words. Like when we see, sometimes we say mu in front of a word. What does mu mean in front of a word?
Possesses the qualities of
what? The one who. It means the one who. So you have Muslim and munafiq and mushrik, all if you just learn the word mu. Okay, so that's the second part. Part 1, or A. The second part, B, would be dealing with the letters that hold extra meanings. And the third part, or C here, we would say deals with the connectors. And the connectors are those harf, those words that we defined. Those words that point to a meaning in something else, while they don't hold a meaning their own self, by their own self, but they point to a meaning in something else, and they're not connected to a time frame. Okay? With regards to that, we have words like that in English. That's why I said it's in every language. In English, name a type of word that has a meaning, that points to a meaning in something else, not holding to a meaning in and of itself. You can't derive a complete understanding by itself, but it only points to a meaning in something else, and it's not connected to time frame. Give me a word.
Under.
Under, on, in, off, above, beneath. So then in Arabic we have min, ila, wa an, wa fi, wa rubba, wal ba, wa ala. So we have min, ila, wa an. All these different words like this are connecting words, which from, to, and, about, tajawwaz, these types of things. So all these three sections is all we're dealing with right this time is the harf. Okay? So the next section is the next section we're going to deal with. Can I erase this? Okay. Could you erase this for me, please? After dealing with the harf, because this is the breakdown and the construction of we're building the Arabic language. If we understand these things, you understand a whole lot. Okay? If you understood the things about the harf, then you would understand a whole lot. Take this off too. Now the second portion, leave that, let's go. The second section is we're dealing with what we call the fi'lun. Everybody say fi'lun. Fi'lun corresponds directly with the English verb. But for all of those who don't know what a verb is an action word. What is a verb? An action word. And an action word defined, Jazakumullah khair, كلمة دلت على معنى في نفسها وقد اقترنت بإحدى ثلاثة أزمنة. So it is a word that points to a meaning. A word. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. That points to a meaning in and of itself. That's right, you guys got this now. It's real easy, right? A word that points to a meaning in and of itself. It has its own meaning. And it is connected to one of three time frames. Give me an example. Give me an example.
Of an action word?
Of an action word.
Jump.
Jumps. Okay. Hold on for 1 second. Hey, Makeen. Excuse me. The battery's low. It just went off. Yeah. You said jump, right? Give me another one. Somebody else. Run. I like run better than jump. Run. That's an order, right? What time frame is it connected to? Immediate. Okay? Why is that? We learn a principle here. When we're learning the Arabic language, you're going to learn fiqh principles also. Usul al-fiqh, I should say. That an order denotes immediacy unless a condition is put there. Do you understand that? So when you have an order, anytime you find in the Quran, anytime you find in the Sunnah, an order, it denotes immediacy unless a condition is put there. Do you understand? Because you wouldn't expect the ladies or the men to order your children, go to the store and get such and such. And they just sit there. They're just sitting there. You say, hold on, didn't I tell you to do such and such? Go buy such and such from the store? I'll do it tomorrow. Would you accept that? Why not?
Because it's necessary to necessities.
Because an order denotes immediacy. Unless you said the next time you go out to the store or you go out the house, then you buy such and such and so and so. Right? So an order denotes immediacy all the time. Unless there are conditions, like I said. Sorry. So run is immediate. The second one would be ran. What is that? Past tense. Okay? And then the third one would be running, right? Which is the present / future. And the reason why we say present / future, because we're in the present tense now, and as we're staying in the present tense, we're going into the future tense. Does that make sense? Okay, so these, an action word is any word that points to a meaning in and of itself and is connected to one of three time frames. Some people say a fi'lun is something that happened. Okay? But something could happen and it not be connected to time. Okay? Because word happened in and of itself is not an action word. So here we have the three time frames. This is one of the things that we're going to deal with when we deal with the fi'lun. Deal with it as a past tense, a present tense, and the immediate. Okay? Take this off the board. Shukran. Do you need this laptop? It's in this bag. And then this one. We're still dealing with the three types of words. The third type, let me get that one of those. Thank you. The third type, does anybody remember what that one is called? An ismun. Ismun. Everybody say it. Thank you. Ismun, I called it a supernoun, right? Supernoun. Why did I call it a supernoun?
Because it's the name?
No. Because in English, what is a noun? In English, a noun is what? A person, place, thank you, young man, or thing, right? That's what a noun is. A supernoun is more than that. Description. Okay? So in Arabic, we can't translate ismun as a noun, as some people do. They just don't know English that well. Because it's not a noun. What do we say about the word pretty? What is that in English? That's an adjective, right? Is it a noun?
No.
In Arabic, it's a noun. In Arabic, it's an ismun. Okay? There is no other section. All those things fit under ismun. That's why we call it supernoun. Do you understand now why we call it supernoun? All the adjectives are ismun. So the Arabic ismun is much more powerful than the English noun. So if we had to name it that way, we would have to say it's supernoun. Does that make sense? Make it real simple, right?
Yes.
Okay. And an ismun is kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi nafsiha wa lam taqtarin bizaman. It is a word, come on with me, that points to a meaning. What am I going to say next? In and of itself. And it is not connected to a time frame. Do you understand that? My last name, Bin Manzo. It's not connected to a time frame. You know what, Makeen? I don't even know. You have to call my wife. That's not my computer. That's hers. You got to call. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A word that points to a meaning in and of itself and is not connected to a time frame. Give me an example. We said a person, place, a thing, or a description. Give me an example.
The masjid is big.
No, just one. You gave me all of them. He said masjid. Masjid is a place. It is a word that points to a meaning in and of itself. The meaning that it points to is that place we call a masjid, right? And it's not connected to past tense, present tense, or an immediate tense, right? That's one. Give me another one. Now, Isa. That's right. That's a word that points to a meaning in and of itself. That person, al-musamma, the person that we recognize as Isa. Okay? And it's not connected to a time frame, even though he's old. You know? You know? So give me a third one, someone else. The ladies haven't come up with one yet. Come on, you guys are sleeping? Give me a word that points to a meaning in and of itself. New York. New York. I heard you guys. He took it from you. New York. Yes? Airplane. That's a thing. Somebody give me a description.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. These are all ismun in the Arabic language. Okay? And if we understand just those three things, those three types of words, the basis of everything we do surrounds understanding and recognizing those three words. As you'll see, we build our foundation on understanding what these words are. So from now on, now that I gave it to you in English, since this is an Arabic class, we're going to start the next part of this class, and that is we have to go through a text. Too many people these days think they're teaching, and you cannot teach without going through the classics. That way, even if someone is from one end of the earth and another person's from another end, when they study the same classics, even though their understandings might be slightly different, they study the same classic. And their understandings may only be slightly different. So you'll study the same classics that the ulama of the past studied. And the one that we'll be studying is called Al-Ajrumiyyah. Everybody say? Al-Ajrumiyyah. And this text, Al-Ajrumiyyah, like I said, it's a classic. It's a classic beginner text. I say beginner text, but in actuality, it's pretty much all the basic person needs in knowing, right? Knowing about grammar and sarf. Also mixed in here, we'll be doing a little of bina. Everybody say bina. This is in the science of sarf. What does sarf mean? Etymology. What does sarf mean? I can't, not anthropology. What does sarf mean? What does etymology mean? Don't whisper.
The breakdown of the word, where it comes from.
To break down the word, to be able to tell what that word is. Like this word, if we go in Arabic, we say ismun. Okay? The word ismun. What does that word mean? Some people say it comes from the word samawat. And that's the same word as samawati or sama, the sky. And they say al-ismun bisumuwiha, because the ismun is the best, this is the superior word out of the three that we just named. the ismun, the fi'lun, and the harfun, I went at it backwards to give you the easiest one first. The fi'lun is the weakest of them. Why? Why is that? You guys have to tell me. What is a fi'lun? It is a word. Repeat it with me. It is a word that points to a meaning in some other word. And it's not connected to a time frame. So it has no strength by itself. You can't make a sentence with a harf. Right? Can I say under? Under, in, from, around, behind, on top? That sounds, it's words, but it's not kalam. And that's what we're going to learn right now. What kalam is, speech. Now, in Arabic we're speaking now. A fi'lun is a word that points to a meaning in and of itself and is connected to a time frame. But you can't make a sentence with just a fi'lun. Running, sat, standing. It has no meaning by itself. You need an ismun. But an ismun in Arabic doesn't need a fi'lun. And it doesn't need a harf. Because you can make a sentence. As-sama'a mubin. The day is, the sky is clear. But is implied. You don't put it in there. As-sama'u is a word that points to a meaning in of itself. It's not connected to a time frame. Mubin is a word that points to a meaning in of itself. It's not connected to a time frame. Two ismuns, but you have a full sentence. Do you understand why ismun is the most powerful of them? But if we do etymology, we find that ismun is from sumuwiha, from its loftiness, because it comes from the word sky. Do you understand? So knowing what sarf is, and bina is a classical text that teaches us the 36, excuse me?
Shapes of Arabic.
Shapes. We're going to call them shapes, right? But actually it's called scales. You call them scales, but they're actually shapes of the words. And each one of these scales, the scale in and of itself has a meaning. Right? So we know that just from the scale, what that word is connotating. And like I said, all this just surrounds the words, but we're going to get to it right now. Could you take the board off for me? Thank you. إن الكلام عندنا فلتستمع لفظ مركب مفيد قد وضع أقسامها التي عليها يبنى take all that off اسم وفعل ثم حرف معنى say إن الكلام you have to open your mouths إن الكلام عندنا. If these are my ishara, these are my my lesson helpers. So you do the same thing, just like your children. We're now all children again. Okay? I know we want that. We're now all children. We're going to do this hand movement so it helps you remember. Innal kalama indana. Everybody point to themselves. Indana faltastami. Who cannot read in Arabic? 1, 2, 3. So then we're going to learn this through listening. Okay? You don't have to know how to read to learn. But you will learn how to read. As the Prophet, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing Allah sent down, what was it? What was it? What was it? What does that mean? Read. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the worst person on Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to be the one who died, who got killed fighting a prophet, or who killed a prophet, right? This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. But the people who fought the Prophet in Badr, he let them go. He ransomed them off if they did what? If they taught 10 Muslims how to read. The ulama used this to show the importance, the gravity of reading. There is no excuse for an intelligent person not to know how to read Arabic. None. If there was something that was going to burn your house down, if you didn't learn how to do it, you'd learn how to do it immediately. But because we don't see it right in front of us, we tasweef, we put it off. We put it off. So let's not let the dunya deceive us. And we're going to learn how to read right now. But here, we're going to learn how to listen first. Say, Inna al-kalama عندنا فلتستمع let me go on. عندنا فلتستمع. Okay? Erase this, please, too.
I have a question of this.
Sure.
Fal, I see the
I did that on purpose. Like I said, we're teaching you Arabic. We're teaching you Arabic, original Arabic. In the original, the first harakat, or the dots and diacritical marks, I should say, that came on the alphabet, when you wrote fa, it came on the bottom. Then after time, they put it on the top. I don't want us to be pigeonholed. I don't want us to be bigots. I don't want us to see, I can't see it except for this way. That's one of the problems of the modern day times right now. If someone doesn't look exactly like I expect them to be, or say exactly what I want to say, we throw them out the window. The flavor of Islam is leaving. And it's because of ignorance. If someone stands in Salah and he says, Maliki Yawmiddin, somebody might grab him and yoke him out and punch him, says, you messed up the Quran, you're supposed to say Maliki Yawmiddin. But both are correct, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so fa, he's pointing to this letter right here. He says, we put a dot on the bottom of it. You could put a dot on the bottom of it, or you could put a dot on the top of it. Just like that. Both are correct. If you want to know which one is the oldest, this is the oldest. The one on the top is the oldest one. So those people say, no, well, this is strange. No, this is the new one. This is the older one, the original one. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Does the dot change the meaning?
No, it doesn't. Does the dot change the meaning is the question. No, the dot does not change the meaning. Very good question. Okay? So what we are doing by learning Arabic, we're learning everything we need to know about Arabic. Okay? So, إن الكلام عندنا فلتستمع. Again. Inna is a word. Now we're going to go through this real slow. Inna is a word that goes like this, that means emphasis. Go like this. Inna. Go like this. Inna. That's what inna means. It has no real meaning in English because English is too weak to represent a word in and of itself to say inna. But inna emphasizes a point. When put before a sentence, it makes that sentence a verifiable fact. When you say inna, and sometimes it can be translated as the fact of the matter is, but that doesn't go with the usloob. That doesn't go with the style of speaking that people have. But that's what it literally means. So say inna with some emphasis. Inna. Now this is what we said. We said emphasis, right? Emphasizes. I don't know if I spelled this right. Emphasizes the point. Okay, that's what inna means, okay? It makes a normal sentence a verifiable fact. That's what it does. What does it do to a normal sentence?
Makes it a verifiable fact.
A verified. Say it with some confidence. Words bring meaning. Words are labels. They attach themselves to emotions and feelings, and so you must speak with feeling and emotion in order to give that word its right. إن الكلام عندنا فلتستمع. فلتستمع. So al is the next word. Al means the. Everybody say al. Everybody speaks Spanish here. This is America, especially in New York. I think it's the most spoken language here in New York. Well, now African language is the second most spoken languages in New York. But Spanish is spoken a lot in New York. Everybody knows how to say el, right? What does el mean? The in Spanish, right? Where did it come from? It came from the Arabic. Why? Because the Muslims ruled Spain for over 800 years. And they brought their language with them. Right? And so el stayed, as along with a lot of other words. So it still means the same thing. The. Okay? The next to the word is al-kalam. Is kalam. Okay? I'm sorry. Let me do it like this. Kalam. Everybody say kalam. Kalam. This word kalam is important for us to understand. Really, kalam. Kalam is from the word kalima. Say kalima. Do we know what kalima means?
It's the same. The word. Or
We say, okay, so kalam is speech. Everybody say speech. But I'm giving you the derived meaning. I'm going to give you the original meaning. Okay? So we say kalam, we say kilam. You can say kilam, say kilam, or kalam. But don't say kulam. Kulam is a hard earth. Okay? But kilam and kalam is speech. It's the plural of the word kalima. Kalima literally means a word, right? I'm sorry, it doesn't literally mean a word. We say literally means words. Kalima literally means on lafdun dhat al-ma'na. The word kalima is a sound that you spit off your tongue that has a meaning. That's what kalima means. A sound. Say it. That you spit off your tongue. That possesses a meaning. Very important what I'm saying here, because that's what a kalima is. And that's what kalam is. The important part is that it's off your tongue. What's the important part?
It's off your tongue.
What's the important part?
It's off your tongue.
Why is that? The reason being that animals make sounds through their throat. Okay? Animals make sounds where? Through their throat. So only the humans and the jinns use their tongue. So we've kicked out, nukhriju, we throw out everything that's not a human or a jinn. So we're only talking about humans. Right now we only see humans here, inshallah. So it's only the humans that talk off the tongue. We're not talking about animals. What does it call it, that bird, the parrot? He's not making tongue sounds. He's making vocalizations from his throat. Or when they say the dolphin or the whale, these are sounds that come from their throat. It's not speech. Speech is off the tongue. It's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allama al-insan. And not anything else that Allah say that, right? So, al-kalima is a sound that you spit off your tongue that possesses a meaning. Lafzatun dhatul ma'na. Okay? So a sound that has a meaning. So inna al-kalam indana. Say indana. This means according to us. And you notice I overline, I don't underline. We learn that from reading the Quran. Whenever there's an important thing, like an ayah of sujood, it's overlined. The underlining is from the kafir. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Khaliful Yahud wa Nasar. Be different from them. So we see in the Masahif, we overline. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So, according to us, who is us? Who are we? Who's the us here? The us here are the scholars of grammar. Who are these scholars? The scholars of who?
Grammar.
The grammarians, the scholars of grammar. What we throw out, because every time we include, we exclude. We're excluding anybody from the scholars of Tawheed who say that kalam is the speech of Allah and it's not created. We're not negating their statement, but we're not talking about that right now. Do you understand? We're not talking about those linguistic people, those people of linguistics who say anything that you can understand, this is speech. Like they said, Shakka alayya ibli tul as-surah mahalan ruwaydin fakilana mubtala. It says, so my camel debated with me, argued with me, complained to me about the long night travel. So I said, mahalan ruwaydin fakilana mubtala. I said, take it easy, both of us are being tested. But did the camel actually speak to him? No. It didn't speak to him, but he understood through the actions of the camel that the camel was tired. Right? So we're not talking about anybody else, what they define speech as. We're only talking about here the scholars of grammar. Do you understand that? So that's what we mean. And we're not talking about ishara, This say, what does this mean? Hey or bye, right? Come here and shush. We're not talking about that. That's not speech according to us. Okay? We're not talking about that type of speech. We're only talking about speech according to the people of grammar. And it surrounds 3 words. What are those 3 words? You better know. This is your life. Ismun, fi'lun, and harfun. So it says, Innal kalam. If I say it, you say it. Innal kalama indana faltastami. The first thing here is fa. Okay? Fa. See, I put the dot on top for you, akhi. The fa is a jawab. It's an answer to this. It's as if the sheikh is saying, if you want to know what speech is, according to the people of grammar, fa, then, okay, then you have to do something. The lam here, this lam, we call it lamul amr, which means the lam that means an order. It's an order in here. So it means let them, let him or them, let that other person. So if you want to know, then what you have to do is istami'. Yeah, the ta here, the ta in front of the word means you. What does ta in front of the word mean?
You.
You. So then it says, the rest of the word is istima'. Istima'. Say that.
Istima'.
The ista, the seen, ta, I put this here just to pronounce it. Ista in front of a word means to seek. To seek something. Like when we say, astaghfirullah. What am I seeking? I'm speaking the ghafara of Allah, right? So I said, astaghfirullah. And the rest of the word, istami', is from sin, mim, ayn, which means to hear. When you change it to istami', to seek to hear, it means to listen. Okay? So it says, basically, so then listen. Then let him listen. Meaning, let him pay attention. Listening is more intense than hearing. Don't you understand that? So we just broke this down to say, if you want to know what kalam is, if you want to know what speech is, according to the scholars of grammar, then listen up. We're going to break it down. Word for word, piece by piece. You have to listen. You have to pay attention. Innal kalama indana faltastami'. Say it. Say it like you mean it. Innal kalama indana faltastami'. Okay, we're erasing the boards. Everybody finished with that? Okay. Yes, sir. عندنا. Sorry. It's a kasra. Sorry. Subhanallah, astaghfirullah. It's عندنا. Jazakumullah khair. Innal kalama عندنا فلتستمع. That's what we're going to stop right there. Okay? We're going to hold you out a little bit. Just go little by little, and as you guys get stronger, we'll give you more. Innal kalama indana faltastami'. I'll give you the rest part, but I'm not going to write it down today. Lafdun murakkabun mufidun qad wudi'. That's the next part. So you're going to stop right here? Listen, if you want to get this is an easy subject. Very easy subject. But it takes work. You're not going to get it just for free. Nothing for free after you're born, right? So you have to work. And the work that you have to do, it's 1 class a week. It gives you enough time to go over your notes and look over this stuff. Everybody was saying they want an Arabic class. Arabic comes easy. It's the easiest language in the world. It's so scientific and didactic, it's very hard to get wrong. However, anything new takes some time getting used to it. And you have to put in the little bit of work that it does. Innal kalama indana faltastami' lafdun murakkabun mufidun qad wudi'. And the only reason I don't give you that part because I want to explain each word to you. And that's going to take a brief minute. So we'll start off. Next week you're going to have a test on that first part. Innal kalama indana faltastami'. And everything I taught you up to the 3 types of words. So I'm gonna ask you, how many sciences are there in the science of Arabic language? There are 13. What are the most important 2? Nahwu wa sarf. What does nahwu mean? What does sarf mean? Nahwu means grammar. Sarf means etymology. What does grammar mean? Grammar means the science through which we recognize and learn what the word means after entering it into a sentence based on its placement and the changes that take place at the end of the words. What is etymology? Etymology is the science through which we know what that word means before entering it into a sentence. The different shapes that it has. Okay? Then we want to know what an ismun, a fi'lun, and a harf is. These types of words, and the 3 types that I mentioned of each one, and the 4 types or 5 types that we mentioned with regards to the ismun, which is a person, place, thing, or description. Okay? And an ismun and a fi'lun is the 3 types. Immediate, stand, sit, Then the past tense, sat, stood, and the present tense, standing, sitting. Those 3 types right there. We're trying to get our minds understanding. And then the fi'l, and then the harfun, the 3 types we talked about. The harf meaning a letter. Take that out your mouth. You only eat food, young man. The harfun, which is a letter. Then the harfun, that is a connector. No, not a connector. That is the letters of ziyada, the extra letters that come with meaning. And the third one, the connectors. And that's what I'm gonna ask you, because you have to become comfortable. You can't learn it all at once, but you can't wait. You have to go over it and talk about it, and we're gonna start using it. Right now, this part is the class is an easy part. We're gonna start with harf. We said we're starting with the harf, and the harf is a letter. The first part is A, the letters, right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Harf, letters, okay? And I'm going to recite you a little poem. With Bismillah and Hamdulillah, then blessings on the Prophet. I'll have my say with you today concerning orthographics. Descriptions of their numerals, points of articulation. As each one comes and as it does, it has its own sensation. Let me start that on. Let's start that over. With Bismillah, say it. And Hamdulillah. And Hamdallah. Then blessings. On the Prophet. I'll have my say. With you today. Concerning orthographics. Let's start here. With Bismillah and Hamdulillah, then blessings on the Prophet. I said I'm going to teach you the letters, right? But we start off with the Bismillah. What is the Bismillah? Bismillah means Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The Arabs love taqsir. They love abbreviation. Right? Did we not teach that before? I'm teaching you a principle. Learn these principles. Don't just hear them. They love abbreviation. Bismillah means Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hamdulillah. What does that mean? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. But more importantly, we start off with the Bismillah. And then we say Alhamdulillah. And then here means tarahi. Then means an infisal al-waqt. It means a break. After praying, after starting with the Bismillah, and after coming next with the Alhamdulillah, then we send the salawatullahi wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin. Then we send the blessings on the Prophet. Then the Shaykh says, I'll have my say with you today concerning orthographics. Ortho, what does ortho mean? Ortho is from the mouth. Go to the orthodontist, right? The ortho is the mouth. And graphics, what is graphics? Images, visual. Images. So orthographics represents the visual images that come out the sounds of your mouth. Okay? The sounds from your mouth. What do we call that? It's just a high-tech word talking about alphabet. Do you understand? Because what is the alphabet? What are the letters? The letters are a visual image, a grapheme, if you would, of the sounds that come out your mouth. For a language to be totally orthographic, there must be a sound. I'm sorry. There must be a grapheme, or rather, I put it in simpler talk, a visual image of every constant sound in that people's use. What I say? I said for a language to be totally orthographic, there has to be a visual image. A visual image representing every constant sound in that language. I'm getting pretty technical with you because I want you to learn. It's not enough to say this is alif, this is ba. This is the alphabet, just the word in of itself. Orthographics. Erase the board if you have it. If you guys ready? Okay. Visual image of every constant sound. Now we're going to learn something. There are two sounds. There are two types of sounds in every language. There's a constant sound, and then there's a vowel sound. What is it?
Consonants and vowels.
Constant and vowel. The constant sound is the sound that you make like ah. Everybody say ah. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Astaghfirullah. That's a vowel sound. Say b, t, ch, k, l. All those are constant sounds. Vowel sounds, a, e, u. A, e, no. A, e, u. Ow. A. That's it. Those are the sounds. Those are the vowel sounds. A, I, U. Everybody, you're at a class to learn how to speak, right? A, I, U. A, E, U. Ow. Did I say A? I said A, E, U. That's wrong. E, U. I'm missing something. A, E, U. No, I got it right. A, E, U is correct. And ow. Ow. That's it right there. Very simple. Now the consonants, I said, we'll have a date when I was talking about orthographics, right? So in Arabic, you have exactly that. You have a grapheme. You have a letter. Let's say ba. And then you have a vowel sound. That's a. So say a. Ba. You put it together and you make a sound. Ba. Do you understand how that goes? Very simple. And once you learn the vowel sound, it doesn't change, and the rule doesn't change. You learn one rule one time, and it's the rule for life. So, I'll have my way say with you today concerning orthographics. But this is, like we say, atful bayan. Okay, after orthographics, what about orthographics we're going to learn? Descriptions of their numerals, points of articulation. As each one comes, and as it does, each has its own sensation. What this is telling you that, with regards to orthographics, what you're going to learn about every letter is this: the description of the letter. Description that determines also how it looks when you write it, how to pronounce it, their numerals. The numerals of the letter. Every Arabic letter has a numeric value. What did I just say?
Every Arabic letter has a numeric value.
Since Baz up there, Baz numeric value is 2. Okay? If you want to know and learn them, once you learn the alphabet, all you have to do is write it down. Ab, Jad, Ha, Waz, Hu, Tiya, Kaliman, Kaf, Lam, Mim, Noon. And then put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's all you do. And then you go all the way through the alphabet, and this is the numeric value for each one of them. But you'll learn it. Don't worry about it right now, but you'll learn it. So that's what he's talking about here. Descriptions of their numerals, points of articulation. What is he talking about, points of articulation? The Arabic word has 2 points of articulation. The first point of articulation is called the makhraj. Everybody say the makhraj. The makhraj is the point where it exits. The place where the way you say that letter. Everybody say la. That's how you exited that letter from your mouth. That's the point of articulation. However, outside of the makhraj, it has its tajweed rule. What did we say? So the tajweed rule is based on the noon. So when the lam comes with a noon, you don't hear the noon anymore. It eats it all up. So we have to learn those 2 things when it talks about its points of articulation. Its point of articulation from by itself and when it's mixed into a sentence. Don't you know that when we say Ar-Rahman, say it? Ar-Rahman. There's a lam in there? No. Yeah, there's a lam right there, but we don't pronounce it, do we? Yes. We don't say Al-Rahman. Yes. It's hard even to say on our tongue. So we learn the points of articulation by itself. By itself. That's called the makhraj, and with other letters. When it's mixed with other letters. Those are the 2 points of articulation. Does that make sense? Yes. Then it says, as each one comes, as each letter comes, and as it does, each has its own sensation. The beauty of the Quran is that it's a shifa. It's a cure. When you hear it, they call it the high medicine. Just listening to the Quran is ruqya. And it's curing you every day from the ills that we have of the heart and whatnot. So the sensation that he's talking about is the sensation of hearing the proper pronunciation. And if you're not reciting it right, you're not doing it right. Because, you know, وَأَخْذُ بِالتَّجْوِيدِ حَتْمٌ لَازِمٌ. The reciting of the Quran with tajweed, the ruling of it is cut and dry, clear. Because the way that it came down, how we have to take it. Shukran jazeelan. So we have to learn how to pronounce it properly in order for it to have the right effect that it's supposed to have. And this is the first part of this lesson. Next week, we'll start off with the word alphabet. And I'll just give it to you right here as a brief. Alphabet. Everybody say the word. Alphabet. The word alphabet comes from the word alpha, beta. You understand that? They say it comes from the what? Greek and Roman, right? But actually, the alpha beta comes from the Muslims when it said alif, ba, ta. You see that? Yes. So there's no way you can't learn the alphabet right. I mean the Arabic alphabet real easy. Because you know the first 3 letters off the back. Say alpha, beta, alphabet, alpha, beta, alif, ba, and ta. Real easy. Can you forget that? No. Tell me the last state to enter into the Union of America. Come on, all you guys got your citizenship. What? No, not Alaska. Not PR. PR is beat up. They don't got no law. It's not a state. It's just property. Hawaii. Hawaii. Say Hawaii. I'm doing fine. How are you? No. Okay, Hawaii is the word. But also the last 3 letters in the Arabic alphabet, Hawaii was named by the Muslims. They're called Juzul Hawa. Say Juzul Hawa. And it's spelled Ha, Wa, Ya. Say Ha, Wa, Ya. Now all you have to do is put a capsule that says Hawaii. You understand? So you know the first three from alpha, alif, ba, ta, and the last three is Hawaii. Let me hear it. And for example, all the people who always have a problem with ha, who's always said, which ha is it? I always hear people say, which ha? Everybody say Harry. Everybody know Harry, right? They talk about that character, you know, Harry Potter, right? The magician, right? Say Harry. That's this one. Okay? Say health. That's this one. See, in English, we have two has also. We just don't write it down because it's not orthographic like Arabic. Say hot. Say jalapeno. That's the other ha. Okay? But if you say heavy, let's hear you say it. Say, I'll stick it with Harry. Harry's a good one. Because it comes from down here. Okay? The other one comes from your mouth. But right now we're dealing with this one. So say Hawaii. Hawaii. Alif ba ta. This is going to be easy, right? Inshallah ta'ala. Yes, say it's going to be easy. Jazakumullah khair. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. المؤذن. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.